Good morning, Room 7 students. Good morning, Room 7 families. Mrs. Flexman here. Happy Friday! We made it through another week. This was a super fun week full of all different kinds of ocean activities. I hope that you had a great day yesterday. I hope you had fun making the tie-dye art. T is for tie-dye. So let's go ahead and get started. Sing along with me. Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, thank you, very well, thank you. And you, and you. Let's do Hebrew. Broker tov, manishma, tov toda beseder, ve'atam. How about Armenian? Be sure to sing with me. Bariluz, inch pesach, yes lovem, Duke, inch pesach. Great job, everybody. Let's see what today is. Yesterday, or I already told you, yesterday was Thursday. That means today is Friday. And the name of our month? That's right, it's June. Our new month is called June. Let's clap it out. June. And yesterday was June 4th. What comes after number 4? Easy, right? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Today is June 5th. Friday, June 5th, 2020. And the weather outside, it's sunny this morning in Los Angeles. It's not going to be too hot. It's supposed to be an extra beautiful day. So if you get a chance to safely go outside and your parents say it's okay, you should definitely do that. So we are wrapping up our the past 2 ocean weeks today. And we're going to read one of my favorite stories. It's called A House for Hermit Crab. Do you remember The Very Hungry Caterpillar? Do you remember that story? I'm sure lots of you have it at home. The author is Eric Carle. He also wrote, he's written many, many books, other books we've read too. He also wrote A House for Hermit Crab. And after we read this story, I wanted to show you more of my special shells that might be a perfect house for hermit crab. So let's go ahead and start reading. A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and wagging about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It was so plain. It needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly across the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful?" "I would," creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and help me clean my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark in here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little, over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They've been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I have outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I have outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. The end. And there's a picture of Eric Carle. And that's his son. This is Eric Carle, and this is his son. So he's the one that writes all these amazing books. And before we put our book up on our calendar, I wanted to show you some of my shells that I have collected. More shells, you know, I have a shell collection. And I thought I wanted to show you these shells because they actually are kind of perfect for hermit crabs. Because see, this small one has a hole that the hermit crab could live in. And this too also has a hole. I found this one out in Malibu about 10 years ago. And then here's a very large one. In fact, this one reminds me of the one that's on the cover of the book. So that would be a really big hermit crab. So I just wanted to share those 3 shells with you. Small, medium, and large. Okay, every time we read a book, we add it to our calendar. So let's come up here and add to our June calendar. There we go. 5 books for 5 days in June. Tomorrow is the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then 5 more days left. And then school is done. Okay, Room 7 students, now it's time for you to log on to Seesaw and get started with today's activities. For our ABC countdown today, yesterday we did T, tie-dye day. What comes after letter T? Let's sing along and find out. Are you ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. U is for Under the Sea Day. This is a great way to end our ocean exploration. So U is for under. And today I have my son Brody here. We're going to show you some fun ways that you can make under the sea activities today. So our first activity is a soapy ocean. You're going to make a soapy ocean to play with. So what we need is 1/4 cup of warm water. Not hot water, but warm water. So have your parents help you get that. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of dish soap, the kind that you clean your dishes with. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch or corn flour will work. Some blue food coloring or blue watercolor, blue paint. And then you're going to need some type of blender, something you can use your normal blender that you make smoothies in, or some type of mixer. And some ocean animals to put inside. If you don't have ocean animals, you can put whatever you want in. Some rocks, some seashells. Brody has some ocean animals from Nemo that we're gonna put in a little bit later. And of course, you're gonna need something to measure with. So we're gonna start out by putting in the water. So go ahead and Brody add the water. And then we need 2 tablespoons of dish soap. 2 tablespoons of dish soap. So why don't you hold this and I'll pour it in. The tablespoon is the biggest one on the little spoon, so pour all that in. Make sure it all gets in. Okay. This is a pretty messy activity, which is why we moved over here onto the tile. I also wanted to have a place to plug in the blender. We need a place that has a plug. Now we're going to need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is really, really messy. I actually don't want to put that spoon in there. 2 tablespoons. I'm going to wipe this one off. Brody, can you go get a napkin for me, please, really quickly? We don't want to put the soap in there. So Brody's going to grab a napkin. Do not put a soapy spoon into your cornstarch. That won't work. Thanks, Brody. Good thing I have my assistant here. So we're gonna wipe this off, make it clean. Cornstarch is used in lots of recipes to make things thicker, and that's exactly what it's gonna do with this. So 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. 1. A little bit. So it's kind of hard to 2. And now we need our blue food coloring. Brody, can you add 3 drops of blue food coloring to it? Good job. Now what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna move the camera while Brody does this, is we are going to turn on our blender and start blending. Okay, so now we have our blue ocean foam. Brody's gonna come over and get the sea creatures and add the sea creatures with it. And Brody, tell us what it feels like when you play with it. You can touch it. This is a good activity to take onto your balcony or outside.
It feels soft.
Yeah? Does it feel kind of like the ocean foam? Yeah?
It feels really sticky.
Sticky and soft. So this is our blue ocean foam activity, under the sea activity that you can do today. And I still have one more for you. Okay, Room 7 students. So for our other under the sea activity today, we are going to make an ocean in a bottle. So what you need for this activity is an empty bottle, empty water bottle, or an empty glass jar is fine too. Some more water, some oil, any type of oil, and some blue food coloring. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is put some water about halfway full into our bottle. It doesn't need to be warm water like the last water had to be warm, the last experiment. measurement. It just needs to be plain old water. And I fill the bottle about halfway full with water. So right about there is good. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of blue food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, you can use blue paint. It's okay. Brody's still over here having a lot of fun with the sea foam, soapy ocean. Mix it up. Now we're gonna add the oil. And this is probably the part where you need your parents to help you. And I want you to notice what happens when we add oil to water. I think we've done this quite a few times, so you guys probably know what's gonna happen. But do oil and water mix? I'm gonna add a little bit more water to mine. Brody, do oil and water mix? Look what happens. The water is at the bottom and the oil is at the top. They don't mix. Now this, put the lid on really tight. Let one of your grown-ups in your household screw it on really tight. Grown-ups, you might even want to hot glue the lid on later if they're going to keep this for a while. Now here is our ocean. Look at that, it's like the waves. It's like when you go to the beach and you see the waves. You could look at this all day. So, 2 great ocean activities under the sea. Ocean activities for you to do today are ABC Countdown Letter U. Room 7 students, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe inside your homes, have fun with your families, and I'll see you next week for our last week of school. Bye everyone.